Inflation. It's the relentless force that keeps investors on edge, prompting a delicate dance between market expectations and the actions of central banks. Right now, the stage is set with recent Consumer Price Index, CPI, numbers painting a picture of both volatility and cautious optimism. Let's dive into the figures. Headline CPI is making headlines itself, clocking in at 3% month-over-month and 3.4% year-over-year. It's a number that demands attention, reflecting the ongoing battle against rising prices. Core CPI, the metric that excludes food and energy, is below 4% for the first time since May or March of 2021. A sigh of relief, perhaps, but not without scrutiny. Zooming out, a 6-month retrospective reveals a certain stabilization in both headline and core CPI. Inflation has been coasting in the range of 3 to 4%, not exactly a return to pre-pandemic levels but enough to raise eyebrows and spark conversations about what comes next. What's fueling this persistent inflation? Energy prices are a culprit, fluctuating like a roller coaster and leaving consumers and businesses grappling with the repercussions. Food prices are also flexing their muscles, surging by 3 to 5%, a reality that hits home every time one checks out at the grocery store. And then there's the unexpected contender, used cars. Who would have thought that second-hand vehicles would become a key player in the inflation drama? Shelter, a fundamental aspect of our lives, is not immune. Prices are on a steady ascent, up 5.5% in December and a staggering 6.2% year-over-year. That's not pocket change, and it's a trend that doesn't seem to be ready to reverse. But it's not just the roof over our heads, transportation services are delivering their own punch. Up over 99.7% year-over-year, the cost of getting from point A to point B is skyrocketing. This isn't just about gasoline, it's about the broader landscape of mobility, and it's making a dent in wallets. So, what's the economic prescription? The market seems to be banking on a series of rate cuts, 6 to 7, to be precise. Yet, the Federal Reserve is playing a different tune, signaling only 3. Cue the surprise and a raised eyebrow at the continued elevated expectations for rate cuts, despite the Fed's clear guidance. Investors are placing bets, pricing in aggressive rate cuts, and it's not without consequence. There's a looming potential for market disappointment if the Fed doesn't wield the rate-cutting scalpel as aggressively as the market has anticipated. The stage is set for a showdown between expectation and reality, and the consequences could reverberate through portfolios and market sentiment. It's a delicate balance, a tightrope walk for the markets. The potential for disappointment looms large, and the repercussions could be felt far and wide. Market repricing becomes a looming threat, and investors are on edge, ready to pivot based on the Federal Reserve's next move. But here's the paradox: despite the anticipation of market disappointment, the overall direction for inflation seems to be showing signs of a downward trajectory. It's a peculiar scenario where the market is preparing for disappointment while the underlying trend hints at a potential easing of inflationary pressures. In the midst of this uncertainty, one thing is clear: cash is king. The strategy is to sit tight with a 24% cash cushion, a prudent move in the face of unpredictable market conditions. There's a focus on the present, a reluctance to make bold predictions in a landscape where variables seem to change at the drop of a hat. Market volatility is up by 4%, a reflection of the nerves running through the investment landscape. The VIX, the CBOE Volatility Index, is being watched keenly, with eyes on levels reaching 18 to 20. Why? Because at that point, the hunt for aggressive buying opportunities intensifies. For those in the market, it's a waiting game with a touch of anxiety. The strategy is to stay alert, ready to pounce on any signs of a market pullback or sell-off. And here's the kicker: any such downturn isn't seen as a reason to panic but as a buying opportunity. It's a contrarian mindset, a belief that amidst the chaos, there's potential for profit. It's a tactical approach that hinges on the belief that markets are cyclical. Pullbacks are inevitable, but they're also transient. The emphasis is on resilience and the readiness to deploy that 24% cash reserve into the market when the time is ripe. It's a dance between caution and opportunity, a game where fortunes can be made or lost in the blink of an eye. In the midst of all this, there's an acknowledgement of the unpredictability of the future. No one has a crystal ball, and attempting to predict the market's every move is a fool's errand. Hence, the emphasis on present conditions rather than gazing into the murky waters of the future. The paradox persists, the market is gearing up for potential disappointment, yet the trend in inflation appears to be easing. It's a puzzle that keeps investors on their toes, a dynamic where expectations and reality are engaged in a perpetual tug of war. As the drama unfolds, one thing remains constant, the market's ability to surprise. It's a realm where the unexpected is the only constant, and strategies are built on a foundation of adaptability. Investors are bracing for potential disappointment but also primed to seize opportunities when they arise. In conclusion, the stage is set with inflation numbers, rate cut expectations, and market volatility creating a complex tapestry. It's a scenario where caution is paired with opportunism, where the market's present condition takes precedence over predictions about the future. In the midst of uncertainty, the readiness to deploy cash and the recognition of market volatility as a potential avenue for profit underscore the nuanced approach investors are adopting. The market is a dynamic arena, and in the face of paradoxical trends, investors are navigating the terrain with a mix of vigilance and a keen eye for opportunity. Please go ahead liking, subscribing, and sharing with friends to support our content. The information is for general purposes. Viewers should conduct research and consult professionals for financial decisions.